Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about how there's 10 most nostalgic Spider-Man cameos in the Across the Spider-Verse. Now I've seen Across the Spider-Verse, it's a really good movie. I highly recommend watching it, especially if you've seen the first one, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. Even if you didn't see the first one, which I highly recommend you seeing the first one before seeing this one, I highly recommend you watching this anyways, because both Spider-Verse films are, I feel like, there are love letters to Spider-Man himself, Stan Lee, who is, I believe, gone on record to say Spider-Man is his favorite hero, and people who are fans of Spider-Man. And I gotta say, this movie, there's one cameo, nostalgic Spider-Man cameo that got me saying, and if they say it, I will let you guys know which one it is. But with that said, let's read, shall we? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is now in theaters, and the film has upped the ante when it comes to the Spider People. While Into the Spider-Verse kept the cast of characters manageable, focusing on a handful of characters like Spider-Gwen and Spider-Man Noir, and the sequel showcased more Spider characters than viewers can cast in a single viewing. By the way, I'm totally planning to buy this on DVD whenever it comes out. Anyways. Some of the Spider-Man comes from various shows, comics, and movies. Their appearance is nostalgic for certain audiences members. What's great about the abundance of cameos that there is essentially a Spider-Person for everyone. So Tobey Maguire. Now he wasn't exactly the one that made me go gasp, but the loudest per se. That my brother looked at me and he said, "I know." But I so loved seeing Tobey Maguire being in here. It was it was great. Tobey Maguire will always be the Spider-Man for me. He was the first Spider-Man that I remember really watching that took a hold of my attention. He was the first Spider-Man movie I seen in theaters. Tobey Maguire will always be the Spider-Man for me. But anyways, let's see what this says. Tobey Maguire played Spider-Man in 3 Spider-Man movies directed by Sam Raimi. He was the Spider-Man for a generation of Marvel fans. I'm one of them. And returned for the role in 2021 Spider-Man No Way Home, where he teamed up with Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield to stop a multiversal threat. While he didn't film new material for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, he does appear in archived material as a pivotal point in the film. When Spider-Man 2099 shows the various deaths of Uncle Ben to Miles, he shows him the scene from the first Spider-Man movie. And that's why I feel like that's probably the reason why I didn't go gasp the loudest when I saw Tobey Maguire, because it was like that, a little montage. I would have loved to have seen Tobey Maguire be in this movie, but hey, can't win them all, right? Andrew Garfield, which was great seeing his cameo too, if you can call it a cameo as well, like Tobey Maguire. But anyways, let's read. Often Andrew Garfield isn't considered as beloved as the Spider-Man that appeared before and after him. But this Amazing Spider-Man is old enough that now that the many kids who watched it are grown and looking back on the 2012 film with a particular fondness. I have to say that I the Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man aren't on the same level as for me as the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but I'm in I feel like the minority of people who had watched the Tobey Maguire movies, loved the Tobey Maguire movies, Tobey Maguire being my definitive Spider-Man, and yet I still loved both Amazing Spider-Man movies. Even though I do acknowledge that they have their faults, but that's a video for another time. Even though he appeared in one of the best MCU's fourth phase, he makes another appearance in the multiversal Spider-Man movie. Much like Tobey Maguire, inclusion, Garfield is shown to Miles when Spider-Man 2099 tells him how important the death of Captain Stacy is to the various spiders. The scene from the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, which shows the death of Dennis Leary's Captain Stacy, is replayed. Okay, like I picked up on that, and I said, okay, that's cool. It's cool. Like I didn't like really like nerd out per se, because like again, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they sold archives. They didn't show the actual actors in the movie per se, and I was honestly that was like one of the most disappointing things for me. I wanted to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the movie. Sadly, we didn't. Well, we did see Donald Glover in there, so that was very cool. As a prowler, which, fun fact before I continue, apparently Donald Glover pitched the idea of Miles Morales, so that's why he was in the movie, apparently as cameo, but as prowler, so that was cool. Anyways, let's get going. The 1967 Spider-Man. The oldest animated Spider-Man shows up for a brief moment in the film. The 1967 series showcased the exploits Spider-Man trying to save the city from his various villains. The Spider even appeared in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. While the animated is memed now, for many adults, it was their introduction to Spider-Man. During the big chase scene in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, when Miles is running from all the various Spider characters, one of the ones he dodges is Spider-Man 1967. He gets a close-up as he slowly swings in front of Miles, only for Miles to dodge him easily. I gotta rewatch the movie just so I can see that part, because I missed that. I totally missed that. Bombastic Bagman. I thought I saw that person. You know, I know nothing about that version of Spider-Man. I've seen that costume in the Marvels in this game, as well as the costumes. So okay, I thought I saw that person. So the Bombastic Bagman first appeared in the pages of issue 258. The Amazing Spider-Man. This suit was taken on a life of its own over the years, but Peter Parker originally wore it after he separated from the Venom symbiote suit. He needed a new suit, so he narrowed one of the. I think they mean borrowed one. He borrowed one from the Fantastic Four outfits and put on a bag so his head can be hit over his head to conceal his identity. I can say words. While he was teased in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse poster, Bagman appears during the big chase scene and looks like he just stepped out of the comic book panel. No doubt many will find this appearance nostalgic since so many grew up with this era of Spider-Man. Fans of the Spider-Man video game will probably be excited to see it as well. And I'm happy they referenced this video game. I'm so happy they referenced this video game. And yes, this is the one that I was saying that I gasped a lot. It was the last Spider-Man show before Disney took over, and it only had 2 seasons, and I feel like this specific Spider-Man deserved a 3rd season. And potentially a 4th season, depends on how the 3rd season went. But it was the Spectacular Spider-Man. As soon as I saw the Spectacular Spider-Man and heard his voice, and my brother heard me and said, yeah, no. Like, the Spectacular Spider-Man is my favorite version of Spider-Man animated. I love that Spider-Man. I really do. That one I hold dear to my heart. Even though Spectacular Spider-Man isn't my first Spider-Man show, he's still when it is like because like I feel like the '90s show where like they left a big cliffhanger of like if that Peter Parker was ever going to find Mary Jane was my first Spider-Man. The Spectacular Spider-Man in terms of the cartoons is the definitive Spider-Man for me. I love that Spider-Man. Amazing show. I love it. Again, I do think that it deserves a third season. And hopefully gets a Star Wars: The Clone Wars treatment where like Star Wars: The Clone Wars got canned after it was like made some episodes season 6, when Star Wars was bought by Disney. But then Disney later on said, "Yeah, we're getting a 7th season to conclude the series," and a lot of fans were excited, present party included. So I'm hoping we get Star Wars: The Clone Wars treatment for Spectacular Spider-Man because I would so love to get a 3rd season of the Spectacular Spider-Man to properly wrap that show up. I love it. I love it. Anyways, last read. Spectacular Spider-Man was an unfortunately short-lived show canceled due to the right issues with Disney. The show followed a younger Peter Parker as he struggled to balance his personal life with the likes of being Spider-Man. Many fans consider it one of the best Spider-Man animated shows ever made and continue to mourn its cancellation. And I have to agree that, yeah, it's one of the best shows ever made. I didn't know it was canceled due to the rights. I guess it makes sense. I hope whoever holds the rights of this particular Spider-Man teams up with Disney to give us one last season. I will die on that hill. I will stand by the argument because, like I said, Spectacular Spider-Man is one of those movies for me, or shows for me, that does deserve a 3rd season. If for us fans, and if by no other reason to have a proper conclusion. So that's it. Let's read, shall we? Continue with this reading. Josh Keaton, who voiced Peter in Spectacular Spider-Man, returned to voice him again in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And the funny thing is, because like when I saw the Spectacular Spider-Man, I was like, "Is that Spectacular Spider-Man? Is that still a Spectacular Spider-Man show?" And then when I heard Josh Keaton's voice, I was like so tempted to say yes in the theaters. But then I had to like remember where I am in the theaters, and no one like embarrassed my brother and my father for saying I'm that big nerd out moment like yes. So I said. Hard for me not to nerd out. I haven't nerded out this like much since like the final fight of Avengers Endgame when we saw like all the Guardians, Avengers, and the standalone heroes working together, like coming out of the portal. That was a pretty badass scene. Anyways, and then like the first like I want to say 30 to like 40 seconds of them fighting, that was the best in the Avengers Endgame final battle. Anyways. The character appears to be a pitiful moment with Miles and the other spiders, which is undoubtedly a special moment for those who loved that show growing up. Definitely a special moment for me. So, Scarlet Spider / Ben Reilly. So, Ben Reilly was created during the famous Clone Saga arc of Spider-Man. He was originally going to be Peter Parker before he was revealed to be the clone, and not the original. Since then, he formed his own identity as the Scarlet Spider. For many who grew up on those comics, Ben Reilly is their Spider-Man. Reilly shows up in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but has more to do than a cameo role. The movie plays up the 90s era angst that birthed the character, which delivers some great laughs for those self-aware fans. His art style is reminiscent to the 90s cartoon comic book trend as well. Okay. I forgot about the Scarlet Spider. I honestly did. I was aware of him. I just forgot that there was a clone arc. Spinneret it's a first for me. Marvel's refusal to have Spider-Man grow beyond his young adult mentality has consistently frustrated Spider-Man fans over the years. Since the controversial One More Day event, Marvel has shown an almost allergic reaction to keeping Mary Jane and Peter Parker together. But somewhere in the multiverse, that was not the case. During the Spider-Man Renew Your Vow comics, Dan Slott showed Peter Parker and Mary Jane who stayed together and had a child. In that world, Mary Jane became a hero known as Spinneret. Blink and You Miss It cameo. Spinneret, was I probably mispronouncing the name, so I do apologize if I'm offending any fans for that. Spinneret can be seen in the cafeteria of the Spider Army HQ, giving hope to fans who want to see them together again. So I have to say, I never heard or seen this version of Mary Jane. I had to rewatch the movie just see that cameo now that I know it's in the cafeteria. Man, I have a lot of look for in my second viewing of Spider-Verse. But yeah, that's pretty cool how Mary Jane becomes a hero in her own right. I know Mary Jane is I know they had difficulties with Mary Jane as of lately, but I'm happy that Mary Jane got her own right. Blah, 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 blah. I can't English right. God damn it. My thoughts out here, my words can't match. My point is, I like seeing Mary Jane get the spotlight in this scenario, her being having her own powers and her being her own hero. Just like how Gwen has her own powers and she's her own hero in some areas. I like the whole Mary Jane twist too. So there's that. Have I explained myself right? I hope so. Anyways, number 3 is the Spider-Man Unlimited. Intended to be a loose sequel series to the popular Spider-Man animated series, Spider-Man Unlimited was released in 1994. The series saw Spider-Man don a new suit and get blasted to counter Earth after he follows Venom and Carnage on a rocket ship with John Jameson on board. Spider-Man from Spider-Man Unlimited makes a few non-focal appearances in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. His appearance even recreates the art style of the show. While it was never as beloved as the Spider-Man animated series, it did have fans, and those fans would be excited to see him return. I saw him. I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't know why they have him as 2-1. I guess this person's so cool that he is taking up 2 places. Because at number 2 and 1, because technically have 9 Spider cameos, but that they announced. But as number 2 and 1 is Lego Spider-Man. I actually thought, hear me out, before reading Lego Spider-Man, that they were going to have this Spider-Man as either number 2 or 1. Because this Spider-Man also made a cameo in the movie, and it was great to see this version of Spider-Man in the movie. If memory serves me right, he was shown a little bit he was shown around the same time Donald Glover made his first appearance. So yeah. So anyways, going back to Lego Spider-Man, it was most likely a nod to Phil Lord and Chris Miller's The Lego Movie. One of the universe that appeared in the new movie is a Lego world. When the Spot shows up in this world, the Lego version of Peter Parker calls Spider-Man 2099 and set the army of spiders against a new multiversal threat. Well, this isn't a Spider-Man that appeared in comics. Many fans watching the film probably have fond memories of playing with Legos as kids. From sets to video games, Legos Spider-Man continues to be quite popular. The only times I've seen Lego Spider-Man per se myself, like that I paid attention to Lego Spider-Man was in the Lego Marvel Superheroes 1 and 2. Both nostalgic games to me, because Lego's Marvel Superheroes 1 was the last Lego's Marvel Lego game that I played with my brother. And so that's like the first Lego Marvel Superheroes has some sentimental value to me. So, yeah. But that was like the 10 they highlighted. I do air quotes on 10 because it's really 9. But that's the Spider-Man they chose to put in this article. I think for me, like I said, the one that was my favorite cameo was the Spectacular Spider-Man. Like that was the one that got me to like nerd out the most out of like seeing all the different Spider-Man cameos. So that was pretty cool to see. So thank you for whoever made the Into the Spider-Verse movie or Into the Spider-Verse. I really do appreciate you guys, and thank you for compiling. Wait, guys said 10 was really 9 Spider-Man cameos. So what do you guys think about this article? And what Spider-Man cameo was the one that got you the most? Of course, for me, I say Spectacular Spider-Man. But tell me who was your favorite, like the one nostalgic Spider-Man cameo that got you the most in this film. If you guys seen it. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow mutants later. Later, taters.